Earth was dying. Decades of neglect had choked the planet, leaving it a barren wasteland. The once vibrant blue marble was now a dull, lifeless grey. Hope, once a beacon, dwindled with each passing day. Dr. Evelyn Wright, a woman of unwavering resolve, refused to surrender. In a desperate gamble, she poured her heart and soul into a final message, a beacon into the abyss. It was a long shot, a plea for salvation flung into the uncaring cosmos. Days turned into weeks, silence met her every attempt. Just as despair threatened to consume her, a faint signal, alien and unknown, pierced the static. A response, faint yet clear, echoed through the desolate command center. Her heart pounded in her chest, a glimmer of hope igniting within. This was it, their only chance. The future of humanity rested on this fragile thread of contact. Commander Xylos of the Vronar, a being of immense intellect and stoic demeanor, received the distress call. His eyes, a deep shade of violet, narrowed as he analyzed the data streaming in. The Vronar were known for their advanced technology and unparalleled wisdom, and Xylos was among the elite, a commander who had seen countless worlds and civilizations. It was faint, emanating from a backwater system on the edge of the known galaxy. The signal was barely detectable, a whisper in the vast expanse of space. Yet it carried a weight, a sense of urgency that was hard to ignore. The coordinates pointed to a small, unremarkable planet, one that had not yet made its mark on the galactic map. Most would have dismissed it, but something about the signal, a desperate plea for survival, resonated with him. Xylos had always been attuned to the subtleties of communication, able to discern the underlying emotions and intentions. This signal was different. It was raw, unfiltered, and filled with a palpable sense of desperation. He knew the risks. His people, the Vronar, were bound by strict protocols, forbidden from interfering with nascent civilizations. The laws were clear, designed to prevent any undue influence on developing societies. Yet Xylos couldn't shake the feeling that this was different, that this was a call that needed to be answered. Yet the scientist within him yearned to understand, to reach out across the void. The Vronar had always been explorers, seekers of knowledge, and Xylos was no exception. He had dedicated his life to uncovering the mysteries of the universe, and this signal represented a new puzzle, one that he was eager to solve. Against the counsel of his advisors, Xylos set course for Earth. The decision was not made lightly. He knew the potential repercussions, but the call of the unknown, the chance to make a difference, was too strong to resist. As the Starfire left the familiar confines of Vronar space, Xylos felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. He was drawn by the raw emotion woven into the signal, a beacon of hope amidst the dying light of a dying world. The voice, though distorted by the vast distances it had travelled, carried a sincerity that was unmistakable. It spoke of a world on the brink, of a people in need, and Xylos felt a deep sense of responsibility. This decision, he knew, would have consequences. The Vronar Council would not look kindly upon his actions, and there would be questions, perhaps even sanctions. But Xylos was prepared to face them. He believed that some rules were meant to be bent, if not broken, in the pursuit of a greater good. As his ship, the Starfire, traversed the interstellar gulf, Xylos found himself replaying the signal. Each time he picked up new nuances, new layers of meaning. The voice, a woman's voice, was filled with a strange mix of fear and determination. It was a call for help, but also a declaration of resilience. He was captivated by the voice, a woman's voice filled with a strange mix of fear and determination. It spoke of a world facing insurmountable odds, of a people who refused to give up. Xylos felt a connection, a kinship with this unknown caller, and it strengthened his resolve. He was determined to find the source. The journey ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but Xylos was ready. He knew that the answers he sought, the understanding he craved, lay on the other side of the cosmic sea. And so, with a heart full of hope and a mind sharp with purpose, he pressed on, ready to face whatever awaited him on Earth. The arrival of the Starfire, a vessel of impossible design, sent ripples of fear and awe through what remained of Earth's scattered population. Xylos, clad in his shimmering silver suit, emerged, his features obscured by a translucent visor. He was met by Dr. Wright, her eyes filled with a mixture of apprehension and hope. Despite the language barrier, a connection sparked between them, a mutual understanding that transcended words. Xylos, using his advanced technology, was able to decipher the human language. As they spoke, he was struck by Evelyn's intelligence and her unwavering spirit. Her passion for her world, her people, resonated deeply with him. He learned of Earth's plight, the slow demise brought about by their own hand. He saw the regret in her eyes, the desperation in her voice. He knew then that he couldn't turn away. He had to help. Section 4. The Shadow of Zarthus. As Xylos delved deeper into Earth's problems, he uncovered a chilling truth. The data he analyzed was unlike anything he had ever seen before. It was as if the very essence of the planet was being siphoned away, leaving behind a shell of its former self. The more he studied, the more he realized that this was no ordinary phenomenon. It was something far more sinister. A force older than time, known only as Zarthus, was feeding off the planet's dying energy. This entity was not just a passive observer, it was an active participant in the planet's decline. Xylos could see the patterns, the way the energy was being drawn away, almost as if it were being consumed by an insatiable hunger. This parasitic entity, he realized, was the root cause of Earth's woes. It was not just a random occurrence, but a deliberate act of consumption. The more he learned, the more he understood the gravity of the situation. This was not just an environmental crisis, it was an existential threat. Zarthus, he learned from ancient Vronar texts, was a devourer of worlds, a being of pure entropy and destruction. These texts, written in a language long forgotten by most, spoke of a time when Zarthus roamed the cosmos, leaving a trail of lifeless planets in its wake. The Vronar had encountered this entity eons ago and had barely survived the encounter. It moved from star system to star system, draining the life force of planets and leaving behind desolate husks. The Vronar texts described it as a cosmic predator, always on the hunt for its next victim. Xylos could see the parallels between the ancient descriptions and the current state of Earth. It was clear that Zarthus had set its sights on this planet. The revelation chilled Xylos to his core. He had always known that the universe was full of dangers, but this was something else entirely. The sheer scale of the threat was almost too much to comprehend. He felt a deep sense of dread, knowing that he was up against a force that had existed since the dawn of time. He had stumbled upon something far greater than he had anticipated, a threat not only to Earth but to the entire galaxy. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that this was not just a battle for one planet, it was a battle for the survival of countless worlds. The stakes were higher than he had ever imagined. He knew he couldn't face it alone. The enormity of the task ahead was daunting, but he also knew that he had to try. He had to find allies, people who could help him in this fight. He couldn't afford to fail. The fate of the galaxy depended on it. He shared his discovery with Evelyn, explaining the true nature of the threat they faced. She listened intently, her eyes widening as she grasped the full extent of the danger. It was a lot to take in, but she knew that they had to act quickly. There was no time to waste. Her initial shock soon gave way to a steely resolve. She was not one to back down from a challenge, and this was the biggest challenge she had ever faced. Together they began to formulate a plan, pooling their knowledge and resources to come up with a strategy to combat Zarthus. They were in this together, human and alien, united against a common enemy. It was a daunting task, but they knew that they had to try. The fate of their world and countless others depended on their success. They steeled themselves for the battle ahead, ready to face the darkness that threatened to consume them all. Section 5. Whispers from a bygone age. Time was of the essence. Every second that passed brought them closer to an inevitable confrontation with an ancient evil. The clock was ticking, and the fate of the world hung in the balance. Zarthus was growing stronger, feeding off Earth's dwindling life force. The malevolent entity had been dormant for millennia, but now it was awakening, its dark energy spreading like a plague across the planet. The skies darkened, and the very air seemed to thrum with its sinister power. Xylos and Evelyn, working tirelessly, searched for a way to combat the entity. They were brilliant scientists, driven by a shared determination to save their world. Their lab was a hive of activity, filled with the hum of advanced technology and the glow of holographic screens. They pored over ancient texts and cutting-edge data, seeking any clue that might give them an edge. Their only hope lay in uncovering the secrets of a long-lost civilization. The ancients had faced Zarthus before and had left behind cryptic clues and powerful artifacts. Archaeologists and explorers joined the quest, delving into forgotten ruins and hidden caverns. Each discovery brought them closer to understanding the ancients' wisdom and the tools they had used to combat the darkness. Legends spoke of the ancients, beings of immense power who had faced Xarthas millennia ago. These beings were not just warriors but also scholars and sages, their knowledge and abilities far surpassing anything known today. They had chronicled their battles and triumphs in stone and light, leaving behind a legacy that could be the key to humanity's survival. They were said to have created a weapon, a beacon of pure energy, capable of banishing the entity back into the void. This weapon was more than just a tool. It was a symbol of hope and resilience. It was said to be hidden away, protected by layers of puzzles and traps, waiting for the right moment to be wielded once more. The search for the weapon led them on a perilous journey across the globe, deciphering cryptic clues and navigating treacherous ruins. They faced countless dangers, from natural hazards to the remnants of ancient defenses. Yet with each step, they grew more determined, their resolve hardening like steel. The path was fraught with peril, but the promise of salvation drove them onward. Each step brought them closer to understanding the ancients and the power they wielded. The artifacts they uncovered were not just relics, but pieces of a grand puzzle. The hieroglyphs and symbols told a story of a civilization that had once thrived, only to be brought low by the very force they now sought to defeat. The deeper they delved, the more they realized the magnitude of their task. As they ventured deeper into the unknown, they uncovered not only the secrets of the weapon, but also the story of the ancients' downfall. The libraries they found were filled with holographic books and scrolls, each one a testament to the ancients' knowledge and foresight. Hidden chambers revealed advanced technology that seemed almost magical in its complexity. But with each revelation came a sobering reminder of the ancients' fate. It was a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most advanced civilizations could succumb to their own hubris. The ruins stood as silent witnesses to a once great society that had fallen into decay. The futuristic cities, now in disrepair, were a stark contrast to their former glory. The message was clear: knowledge and power alone were not enough to ensure survival. It was a lesson that Xylos, Evelyn and their team took to heart as they prepared for the final confrontation with Xarthas.